because what I'm here to talk about today is just bringing you back to the simple stuff and the fact that it really is just the simple stuff repeated. And so I want to share we'll see, I think, probably going to be short, but I always have to laugh at myself when I say that because it just then goes anywhere. A short but powerful message to you today as an entrepreneur, as a creator, as somebody who knows that she's here to lead and to let something inside of her out. And just to remind you that you do already know the steps to take. You definitely know the next step. And the more that you think that it's a whole bunch of stuff that you've not thought of or planned for or come to understand yet, or that you need to figure out, then the more likely it is that what actually is going on is you need to put aside your ideas of every different thing that you think you could be doing or that you should be doing. And you need to just connect into what is the simple, obvious thing that is going to grow this business, that is going to get my message out there properly, that is going to result in effective marketing, that's going to create sales, that's also obviously going to create products or offers to sell in the first place. And ultimately what it's about is, and I've said this for so many years, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm so repetitive, but it's just truth. What it's ultimately about is you really want to be going to bed at night, putting your head on the pillow and having that sense of filled up satisfaction and just a knowing that I did what I came here to do today. So that's what today's little message is about. It's not out of nowhere. I've been doing business online for closer to 20 years than 10, well over 17 years. I've produced tens of millions of dollars personally through my coaching business online. I've helped my clients to collectively produce hundreds of millions of dollars in their businesses. And the way I teach, and what you'll find as a common thread through all of my 300 plus programs, products and offerings, is it is about unapologetically being you. It is about backing what you feel inside of you. It is about the fact that there is a way that you should walk forward in your business, in your messaging, your marketing, your branding, all of it. And it is so not the way that most of the internet is telling you that it should be, or that, you know, this, that, and the other distractive post, program, offer, idea, etc. is causing you to think that it should be. What it actually is pretty much some version of the way that you wish it could be. The way that you wish it could be. And I was bringing myself back to this earlier this morning, which is what gave me the title inspiration for today's chat. And I was just thinking from a perspective of, man, even after all these years and the fact that I coach so many different people around these exact kinds of things, yes, amen, Deborah. Even after all those years, I'll still do the thing because I'm such a, I'm a creative thinker. I have tons of ideas. My mind is very like, ooh, bright, shiny object or bright, shiny idea. And I have a bit of a pattern and a background of being an overachiever or perfectionist or A-type, all of those things a lot of my clients are like, so you might be able to relate if you've ended up here. And so I'll tend to heap on in my mind these endless ideas of the things that I think that I should do. And so what that results in is I'll make, sometimes, not always, I'll make tons of lists, or I'll email myself endless notes all day long, or I'll actually get it into myself that it's a requirement that I do this, and the other thing. And what that tends to do, I don't know about you, but what it does for me is it perpetuates an idea that if only I could get on top of all of these extra things, or all of these different things, or all of these new things, or all of these things that I at some point along the way said that I was going to do, then at that point I would finally be, there, basically, whatever there means. So at that point I would finally have reached, the next level of being seen or known or getting my work out there. At that point I'd be able to speak on this, world-class stage, or have my books out there in this particular way, or be positioned in this way, or open up this whole different thing. And it's this mindset, it's this underlying mindset of, I could be there, or I could be the person, or I could have that kind of a business if only I could get on top of like 777 random things, that in actual fact, the reality is, and this is what I'm bringing, myself back to pretty much continually whenever it is necessary, and what I want to bring you back to today, in actual fact, it is a complete crock of shit, because the reality of how you're going to get there, and again, I don't say this out of nowhere, I say it from very extensive business success, in my own life and from a place of alignment and very extensive success alignedly as well. I'm purpose driven in the lives of my many clients all around the world in over 120 countries. And it's a freaking pattern that the people who get to where they're meant to be and to where their business is actually allowing them to show up, sell and serve the people who they're here for are the ones who do the simple stuff repeated. So let's take a random example, right? Actually, I want to share this over to one of my other pages and then keep going. Let's take a random example. I don't know if you can hear construction workers in the background. There's a house being built not too far from mine, and I think it finishes in like 15 minutes for the day. But every time I go live when I'm in my own house as opposed to at my warehouse office, I start thinking, why did I go live during the day? All I can hear is metal grinding and stuff. Okay, there we go. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that you wanted to build a world-class membership site because you don't want to be randomly just selling smaller courses here and there or high ticket offers here and there or whatever in your coaching business, in your personal brand. Maybe you still want to do that. Maybe you're like me, you kind of just prolifically create and you see the vision of being able to do it all. But let's say at some point along the way, you've decided, I want to have a membership site. And I want people to consistently be joining my membership site, either instead of doing a whole bunch of other stuff or maybe like me in addition to, right? So for me, how my business works and has done for years, like at least a decade out of the 17 plus that have been online, is that I've consistently had a low cost membership site. So at the moment, my low cost membership site is my secret garden. Side note on the Delo, I just reopened it for 72 hours only. I'm going to email out about that at some point. But if you're like, what? Tell me, what is it? Or I missed out when it was open before. You can go to thekatrinaruthshow.com/the secret garden. 72-hour opening, actually officially start 9 a.m. tomorrow my time. But I'm letting you know, I'm giving you the early sneak peek. And the original launch prices still apply. So I've had a low cost membership site of some kind in the entrepreneurial space for 10 years. And in addition to that, I've had different courses, classes, etc. In fact, hundreds of them. Not because I think or not because I'm suggesting to anybody that you need to do that in order to have a successful business. I definitely don't think that, but that's because that's me being me. I like to create and it's like breathing for me to create and to just continue to make new courses. Whereas the idea of just having one thing or like 3 things, let's say, that I sell and repeat, it doesn't make sense to me. It feels stagnant. I don't get it. It's weird to me. I just want to continue to pour out the thing that is coming through. And so even the membership side itself, which is always my kind of like all in, it's always the low cost place to be in my space and to be able to coach with me live, as opposed to if you wanted to coach with me but as a private client, which is obviously a very different thing and a different price tag as well. And I teach live and I have lots of cool things in there, and then I'll do my separate classes, courses, workshops, masterclasses, etc. Example being, and if you're just joining, hi Shyla, what I'm talking about is how would you do something like create a whole new membership but see it as something that's very simple and like one step in front of another. Or it could be a book or a podcast or a show or an entire product brand, an entire different arm of the business, you name it, right? It also applies to anything in life, like changing your body, changing your home, etc., etc. So I'll do a lot of smaller one-off things. So at the moment, for example, if you went over to thekatrinaruthshow.com/design to be a dreamer, then you'll see that that's my upcoming masterclass. It's a one-time live workshop event, a masterclass basically. It's happening next week. I don't remember exactly when. I think it's at the start of the week. And the details are all on the page, obviously. And that's just a super low price. It's $99. I think I have a payment plan option on there even. Do I? Let's have a little look. Why do I not have a payment plan option on here? Let's add a payment plan option on here. Can we add a payment plan option on here of $55 times 2? But also, if we actually put the date and time of this on the page, honestly, this is how I roll half the time. Hi, Amanda, how are you? I'm just like creating. And I'm always just showing up, pouring out, serving, suggesting, mentoring, coaching, adding usually like way more in than what I even think that said that the thing is going to be. My general philosophy is over promise and over deliver. And literally sometimes I'll look at one of my own pages and be like, hang on, did we even put the date on that? I think it's on there somewhere. So that's an example, right? That's a one-time live thing that's happening. That one's at thekatrinaruthshow.com/design to be a dreamer. So I might have something like a class, then I might have a course, like I just closed out selling my 30-day current live course, the Prophetic Bootcamp. I closed that last week, so I won't give you that link. Then I've got the membership, the Secret Garden. Then I have a high-end offer open at the moment as well. And if you're just joining, I'm talking about how all these things come together and just letting it be super simple. But my high-end offer is open as well. I don't have a page for that, but if you're wanting to know about private mentoring, it's a 10-week container. It's called Supernaturally Called and Ordained, and it's for leaders called by God and ready to now pour forth. So it's the practicalities and, of course, the inner of being that leader who is faith-led and desires to pour forth all that she is meant to pour forth in the different arms and avenues of her business, as well as obviously from a perspective of her fully dropping into who she's meant to be. So that would be, okay, you want to mentor with me privately. That one you just message me about. Do it on my personal Facebook or on my Instagram, ideally. And all of these things somehow work together. And honestly, a lot of the time I have a lot more than that going on at any given time. And then I'm typically working on a couple of different fairly significant projects behind the scenes. Like at the moment, there's 3 books that I'm working on that are each pretty close to being able to be done. There's, I don't know, a number of other things, right? Podcasts, shows, many other things that I won't go into. And then there's also the fact that on a day-to-day basis, it's aligned for me. It's not like a rule or a job, but it is aligned for me to be pouring out my daily free content. That is my blog. And I typically write a 2,000 word approximately blog post every day. And then it might be a live stream like this and just flowing into a conversation and a chat, so that I can have a little recharge moment, honestly, is what I see it as during my day, where I'm not typing or just, you know, there's something that's coming through and I want to share it. And it's also a key way that I get to know you and the people that come into my space, and that you get to know me and get a bit more of the vibe of what it would be like to coach with me, to join one of my classes or courses or my membership, etc., or even to coach with me as a private client. And over the years, my private clients, people who've invested at that level, as well as people who might buy something for $99 or any sort of price point, have often come in just from watching or listening to a live stream. There's a lot of different things that I just kind of threw out there as far as different arms of my business, and it was just probably a fairly core part of it, but it's not all of it. And yet, though, also, the amount of time that I spend on my business and the amount of time that I think you need to spend on your business as a creator, as a leader, as an entrepreneur who is called to have a business come out of her that is essentially built around you sharing something that's inside of you and that is given to you and that should come through you. I don't believe, and I certainly don't live according to any sort of idea, that it needs to take inordinate amounts of time. For me personally, it's probably around 20 to 25 hours a week that I put into my business, and that includes teaching all of my classes in my courses. It includes client care and looking after my current private clients. It includes many, you know, behind the scenes things that obviously go into a multi-million-dollar business, and whatever else it might happen to be. And that also includes my visioning and journaling and dreaming time, not just the actual like that side of things, because I don't live a life where I want to work 60 or 80 hours a week, and I don't believe it's necessary. And also, it's kind of not even about how much time it takes, is it? But that is a reference frame on how much time it takes. The reason it all works, the reason I have such a prolifically high output, the reason that I produce the results that I produce, financially and otherwise, is not because I have some master plan like Dr. Evil up on my wall and I'm ticking off a million different arrows and, you know, check boxes and you name it. It is because I've created a discipline over the years, and I still need to bring myself back to that anytime I'm stepping into something new and broadening or narrowing, as the case may be, or going down a path that I may be feeling insecure about, or like, can I really be that person, etc. I just bring it back to, and I've learned to bring it back to, and I'm reminding you to bring it back to. But what is the simple, obvious thing where if I did it and repeated it, then over time, it is going to create that outcome. So maybe you want to start your own membership, for example, or you want to write your first book. I've written over 60, not by doing anything other than just put words on a page, put aside some time and space. I've made millions and millions and millions of dollars from memberships, from many different memberships that I've had over the years, and my memberships tend to always evolve and flow into the next thing, not by some kind of fancy marketing plan or, I don't know, extensive, like over the top, detailed, complex, organization or anything like that. Literally just by sitting my butt in the chair on whichever days I was led to do, and feeling the vibe of something new coming through maybe, and instead of looking at it as this huge, behemoth that is going to take, is that the right way to say the word, behemoth? This huge beast that is going to take all this time or effort, or there's all these different things that have to be known in advance and built in advance and structured in advance. I don't see it that way. I don't think you need to see it that way. I see it as, oh, wow, cool, interesting. This is the thing, or this is the vibe, or maybe it goes as far as me to know this is the title or this is the name of the thing. And then it's literally just, all right, cool. Well, let's do that thing then. And obviously at some point, something needs to maybe be put on a web page or published, or a membership site maybe needs building, or content needs creating, or classes need booking, or people need telling and giving a link so that they can buy. But what if you just saw all of these different things as simple, easy, flow-based, obvious moves? And what if you deleted out of your psyche the gnarly bit, which is basically the bit where it's not actually true, that it's complex, that it's hugely time demanding, or that it requires something external to you being you. It's more that you have bought into an idea that this is about you being somebody that you're not, and that you have to somehow pull it off. And what I'm here to say is, no, let's normalize you being you, but let's normalize, that sounds weird, but that's what I'm talking about. Let's normalize you being you, but let's normalize you being the version of you who has already written that book or series of books, who has that high ranking podcast, who has that vibing, just epic, everybody wants to be part of membership site, and it's naturally growing and flowing as it should. You didn't try and build the whole freaking 1 year of stuff in advance or whatever. You just said, hey, we're doing a thing. I think you'd find it, helpful, or I think this might be for you, or if you're this kind of person you're supposed to be in, come along and let's, do this thing. And you actually backed yourself to know that you have integrity about your work, and that you're going to do the thing that you said you were doing. You don't have to build it, prove it, and somehow, wave a flag to the world in advance that says, see, look, I really am the person. I really am. I really am. I really am. Do you believe me? Because that's what's actually going on a lot of the time when business is feeling complicated. It's not that there are all those steps. There's going to be a lot of steps in the end. Don't get me wrong. Like if I look back over the past couple decades online, and then time before that where I was already in business offline, clearly I've taken a truckload of different steps of all sorts of kinds. But imagine I thought I needed to know those steps in advance, or even 10% of them, or honestly even 1% of them, let alone comprehend the intricacies of each step. I would have never begun. I will talk myself into not being good enough, not being the person, etc. And I definitely still have done that on occasion when I've started to look down the barrel of a new thing that I've not yet done, that I feel led to, or that I know I ultimately should be doing, and then start dramatizing it basically, and turning it into this massive beast that I've got no idea where to start with. I was thinking about this, actually I was talking about it last night with a good friend, and she was giving me some great, wisdom and advice. You always got to keep wise friends close to you and be a wise friend, of course, as well. And I was talking about, I just know I'm meant to end up speaking on stages in stadiums, right? Who wants to amen on that for me? I just, I know that. It's not even, I feel that. I know that. That's just a reality. But if I would sit here, okay, I have a business that is a multi-8-figure coaching business. I certainly am very well connected, and I have been private counsel and mentor to many of the most amazing entrepreneurs, leaders, and creators in the world. I have, the private numbers of tons of people that could help me out with this kind of a thing, as far as positioning or marketing or you name it. But still, that is a huge beast. So I think we're going to hear some noises in a moment because my sister's arriving here with her 2 kids. So if you hear random noises in the background and my dog's suddenly losing it. So still, if I consider the idea of, okay, running an event in a stadium, and then I would say to myself right now, okay, you need to figure that out, Kat. You need to make a plan. You need to figure it out, right? So maybe you think this about yourself for the exact same sort of a goal, or some other big world-class type goal, or like I said, it's a book or a membership, or maybe you're thinking the entire business, right? Maybe you're like, okay, I need to build or rebuild the entire suite of products in the entire business. You got to bring it out of the, don't dramatize it. Bring it out of the dramatic, bring it out of the thing where it's hardly anybody in the world would even be good enough to do that. Well, is that even true? Or is it just that, hardly anybody in the world does do that thing, etc., etc. Or your mind going, hang on, there's 1,000,001 reasons why you're not ready for that yet, or you don't know how yet, or you've not proven yourself enough yet. And you need to exit out, literally unsubscribe. No, thank you. Stop emailing me with these crazy thoughts, mind. You need to exit out of the idea that this is something that is external to you being you. The fact that you have not physically done a thing yet doesn't mean that it is not simply a series of steps. And really all you need to know is, what is the one I'm being shown right now? What is the one conversation to have? What is the one person to reach out to? What is the one, vision that I'm going to write down, or commitment, or intention even? Now, your business is not going to be built off a series of intentions and that's all you do. Clearly, you're going to take action. Clearly, there'll be big moves from time to time. Clearly, you'll have to, at certain points, just kind of like crawl your way, commando style through the mud and muck of some sort of page somewhere on the internet, and you've got no idea what you're doing. Or you just can hire someone to do that. But there's going to be gnarly bits, there's going to be messy bits, there's going to be quicksandy bits. It is what it is. If you try and figure those out in advance, or if you sit there, yes, Mindy, love you. If you sit there and you're like, but where would I even start? And would I even be able to pull that off? And how would I fill that room? Or how would I get the sales? Or what are all the different moving parts that the thing needs? And who am I going to need to know or talk to or convince? And oh my gosh, how am I going to do my hair? And what will I need to wear? Then you just can, like, at best, you're going to delay and procrastinate. Yeah. And another decade will pass, and then you'll do the thing and you'll just be 10 years more, fabulous, but maybe you just want to do it now, right? That's the best case scenario though. Because the worst case scenario is you never actually did the thing because you took it and you put it external to you being you. You made it a thing where you have to prove yourself that you are that person. Okay, if I do this and this and this and I build the whole thing somehow in advance and I prove the whole thing, then I can, wave my flag to the world to say, see, look, I really am. I'm a real girl. I promise. I'm a real girl. I'm a real girl. Believe me. Right? I'm a real entrepreneur. I'm a real leader. I'm a real author. I'm a real marketer. I'm a real speaker. I'm a real person. But stop it. Stop it, because it's a house of cards. And you know what else? All of these different industries, because I know people that do all of these different things, and I've been the person that's done many of these different really big time entrepreneurial things. They're all human. They all poop. They all have fears, doubts, and insecurities. They all have bad hair or bad skin days, whatever. It's just that person happens to walk out on a stadium stage and do a world-class speaking gig. That person happens to be a multi-best-selling author. That person happens to mentor or coach or, in any way guide or support the most incredible whatever in the world that are their clients. That person's just done the thing that other people have put up onto the pedestal shelf of things I don't know how to do or that I have to prove myself to be good at. But they all just break down to the fact that at some point somebody goes, yeah, right, okay, that's what's going to happen. And I have no idea how, but I'm saying yes. And maybe I definitely am a real girl. Thank you. And maybe leaning on God and allowing yourself to be led and guided, and maybe just stop looking at all of the so-called rules on the internet or whatever group you move in, and definitely stop listening to your mind perpetuating an idea that you don't know how, or that you alternatively that you have to figure out all of the how in order to make the move. What if you just trusted that whatever how you have to figure out, it'll be shown to you at the time when it's time to figure it out, and then you can figure it out. Or you could not even figure it out and just ask God to lead and guide you, right? You can move forward with trust. That's actually a choice. It's not an emotion, it's a choice. The emotional side, like the feel-good side of being in trust and flow and surrender, may or may not follow the choice to trust and surrender, because who knows that sometimes the choice to trust and surrender and be in flow is not followed by feel-good emotions. It's not followed by that at all some of the time, but yet you can still choose it. So stop making your choice to trust, to surrender, and to just go, yeah, you know what? This is what's going to happen. I have no idea how, but whatever I need to know, whatever action I need to take is going to be shown at whatever point I need to be shown at, right? But here's the thing though. I'm not suggesting you do nothing. I'm not suggesting you just say yes to your visions, dreams, and the big cool vibe of the thing, and you go, yeah, I am that person. Woohoo, I am that, yes, queen, let's shout it on the internet. I'm not suggesting that that's all you do, and then you just sit there and you chill and you munch your Doritos on the couch and wait for somebody to knock on the door with a silver platter and say, here it is, here's your dream life. You deserve it. You were born for it. That's not it either. So what is the actual thing? The actual thing is discipline, but it's discipline to flow. It's discipline to what is the move right now. It is discipline to what is the simple, obvious step that's in front of me. And you should write this down, and this should be a journal prompt, and smack yourself on the face with it, write it in mirror writing on your forehead with lipstick so you can see it in the mirror. The simple thing is, what is the actual action I would be taking right now today or in this moment if I truly believed and expected that that thing is going to occur. It's not, oh, I said yes, like, yes, I believe in anything. Dreams can be real for me. And then you just kind of put it in a dusty corner somewhere because it gathered dust because you're not letting that dream have life breathed into it. You're not asking God to breathe on it. You're not breathing on it with any sort of action or move or any sort of operation as though you actually believe it, right? One of my favorite things I like to say is faith has a voice. Another way of obviously saying that is that, you know, faith without works is dead. There's always action attached to faith. But that doesn't mean do a whole bunch of stuff and that's how you prove that you believe or that's how you get the thing. It's no, I believe this is what it's meant to be. This is what I have said yes to. And so that's what's going to happen. And now I'm going to say yes to the actions that I'm being shown day by day. And this applies to every different area of your business or different projects you want to bring to life or different avenues, parts of your life. But it actually is more so about across the board. You want to look at it from a perspective of, well, what would my literal day be today? What is the simple, obvious thing that my day would be today if I were that person? You know, if I were the person who is doing business like that, speaking like that, writing like that, mentoring like that, living like that, breathing like that, etc. You know, and then bring it back into the moment. All right, well, okay, clearly it hasn't physically occurred yet, so something had to be done that it did physically occur, but we're going to move forward with an expectation that it is going to physically occur and that train has already left the station. Okay. Just texting my sister. That train has already left the station. And so if the train had already left the station and your epic new Vibey all-in membership had already been announced and was already like, it's a real thing, it's happening, the train has left the station, you're going to get to the station where people are buying the thing really, really soon. So what are you going to do so that you're ready? Or yes, I am writing the book. It's a known definite thing. The train has left the station. Any minute now people are going to start buying it. Well, you better have something for them to buy. Or I am going to speak at that kind of event, or I'm going to run that kind of event, or I'm going to be on that kind of a stage. The train has left the station. If that's definite, what needs to happen before we get to the next step? When is the next step, the next stop happening? Well, we don't necessarily exactly know, so I better get on with it. What would the move be? If you knew that the train had already left the station on that thing that you've had up on a shelf and that you've had an idea that you've submitted to, that it requires all this complex, fancy stuff that is external to you being you, when really that is not remotely true. And what's happened is you've added all this basically fear-based idea-ness to it because you're not seeing it as just a simple part of who you are. You're not seeing it as the person who has that, poops and has bad hair and bad skin days and is just a human person that's doing a thing and it happens to be that thing, right? So if you deleted all of that, what is the thing? If I am this person, and you know what? Sometimes you don't know, because sometimes you're like, well, I actually have no freaking clue. But if the train had left the station and you understood that this thing is underway and that you've got a part to play, do you think that maybe your choice to trust, surrender, and expect to be shown would result in you seeing a step at some point? It sure is anything going to be more likely to result in you seeing and knowing and then taking a step than you not. So there is that component as well, because sometimes it's actually very smack you in the face obvious. You want to build an email newsletter where people love to read your emails? Well, hello, hi, maybe write some emails. Maybe invite people to join the list. You want to have a membership that is just the all in place for your ideal people? Well, maybe define who those people are. Maybe just decide that you do know the name of the thing even though you don't know the name of the thing. Maybe just do an old school brainstorming session where you write down all your favorite fun words and then play word games with them to move them around until you come up with a title for something. That's how I used to come up with my program titles years ago. Nowadays it's always a download, but that didn't happen at first. I sat there old school style brainstorming words I liked and then joining them together in different orders and sequences. And some of my to this day selling programs from like 15 plus years ago, whenever, were created that way, like the titles of them. Okay, so just stop it. Stop with the excuses. Okay, maybe you have no idea how you would feel at an event that size or speak at an event that size. Okay, well, there's still an action you can take. You can still write the vision. You can still book the first event. You can still reach out to a person. You can still start to put together what your speech is going to be or your presentation, if that's the thing that you do, putting things together, or whatever your thing would be. And if truly, in a particular area, you truly do not actually at all know a move to make, more than likely, sorry, but you're full of just nonsense. And that's not true, because pretty much everything that's to do with entrepreneurial business stuff, it's being done or it's being done. Like, at the very least, you can start to make moves based on what you see or know is possible. And then you'll find out along the way whether or not that was the move for you. But if you truly actually have zero clue where to start, then you still don't be passive. Because the simple, obvious step is, I'm going to sit here and believe and expect that I'm going to be shown what the move is that I will make, because it doesn't logically make any sense that I wouldn't know. Because otherwise I wouldn't have seen this vision, which is supernaturally available for me already. It wasn't a vision of a one-day possibility that's never going to happen, was it? It was a vision of something that's meant to occur. So the missing link is you saying yes and expecting to see the move to make shown in front of you. The missing link is not typically go and search the internet to find some person that you need to pay an inordinate amount of money to show you how to be you. I'm sorry, but that's not usually the missing link. And by the way, I am a person who, if you really wanted to, you can pay inordinate amounts of money to work with me as a private client. Actually, my 10-week mastermind, Supernaturally Called and Ordained, is nothing like inordinate amounts of money. Definitely need to message me about that if you want 10-week private with me alongside mastermind, and you know you're called by God and that it's time to fully pour forth. Because this is still a private mentoring price point, but it's not inordinate, that's for sure. Or go to the Secret Garden, which just on the D-Lo has reopened just for 3 days, and I'll start promoting that tomorrow. And that is my low-cost membership, and I've just reopened it at launch prices, and it is a crazy, crazy low price. And I live teach in there most weeks 2 times, some weeks 1 time. It's at thekatrinaruthshow.com/the Secret Garden, and you get everything that's already in there. And it's just everything on the practicalities, the structure, the strategy, the inner game, obviously the purpose, God, identity side of things. It's all Holy Spirit led. It is a place for entrepreneurs in the Secret Garden God has made for you, which is to say the place where you see, know, and take action on the business and the life that you're here for. So that's the katrinaruthshow.com/Secret Garden, the Secret Garden. I'll put these links in the comments afterwards, or you can DM me any questions, or if you want to find out what's for you. And then the other one is the one-time masterclass, $99, or adding a 2-part payment plan to that as well. And you'll get replay, you'll get everything like that if you can't attend live, obviously. And that is at thekatrinaruthshow.com/designed to be a dreamer. So there's plenty of ways you can work with me. You choose which one is the right one for you. Or if you're really not sure, you ask me a question. I'm just going to drop you links right now. Open now for just 72 hours. That's the membership, the Secret Garden. Designed to be a Dreamer Masterclass, which is a reset back to who you always knew you were. It is a full reset, a remembrance, and a blueprint you'll walk out with of what exactly needs to be going on right now in your business, in your life, in all of it. So that is at thekatrinaruthshow.com/designed to be a dreamer. What was I saying before I started dropping those links? I was ranting off about something and I was nearly done. There's the links though. Oh, I just accidentally dropped them from my other profile, from the Australia Success Mindset Queen profile, but you can still see it. So I think what I was ranting off is just quit the idea that you don't know. Because the only reason it would be true that you can't know or wouldn't see the step that you actually need to take to bring this vision to life is if it's not your vision. Or if it's actually definitely factually true that it's not time right now. But that is very rarely the case. Sometimes it's the case. But even if it's the case that the full fruition of the thing is not for right now, there's something that's meant to be done in the direction of it. And sometimes that thing is simply just building faith and belief in your prayer, in your inner, in your conversations with God, in your own talk and your own thoughts and what you're speaking forth. And sometimes that's the action to take. But wouldn't that be a great freaking action to start taking daily on the big promises and dreams that you actually don't know? Maybe you question or you wonder, is it time for that thing right now? Okay, well, one way to know would be to start declaring it and speaking forth that this thing is definitely occurring. And what I find is when you're doing that through a lens of prayer, God and rightly led, usually as you start to declare and stand on and just speak over the things you've already been shown, more will be shown to you. And then all of a sudden your questions or wonderments around, well, is this thing really for me? Is it really for right now? Maybe it's for like 10 years into the future or whatever. Well, maybe it was just that you need to start looking at the thing more and actually believing what you've already been told. And then you'll see the next step. And that was the how. So there's always a how. There's always an action to take, but you don't need to know it all in advance. You must, however, be disciplined. Your discipline must be to flow. The discipline in the morning must be, or whatever time it is that you begin your dropping in time for your business, must be to put aside the idea that this takes some massive fancy, beast of a thing that you've got to figure out or spend endless months, building or creating or understanding. And meanwhile, at the same time, you've got to somehow craft yourself into someone that can present themselves to the internet as being whatever it is that you think makes you look like you're a real, entrepreneur, leader, creator, author, speaker, whatever. Putting all of that aside, that's the discipline. Putting all of that aside and go, no, stop it. I do already know the answer to take, step to take, and I'm just going to do the simple thing. If I want a big email community and a vibey community of people who love to read my stuff, watch my stuff, buy my stuff, then maybe there should be some stuff. Simple, right? Write a thing, say a thing. Oh, but I don't know how to, always create flow with my live videos or my recorded videos or any sort of content. So I'll go and study that and make a big content plan and figure it all out and plan it all out and nut it all out. Or you could just press go live like this and have a chat. And what if you repeated that a couple times a week even? Do you think that that might build something? Do you think that maybe you would figure some things out about what people respond to, but also about how you most need to operate and be in flow? Do you think that potentially even then you could take what you had spoken forth, remove the audio from it? Now you have a podcast as well. Get little clips from it, and then you have reels for Instagram as well. Get ideas from something that you said and go, you know what, that'd actually be a great workshop or masterclass. Maybe that's going to be my next thing. Or you know what, I should teach deeper on that thing. Maybe that'll be a class in my membership. Or you know what, somebody just out of nowhere came across my thing and just was so magnetized by what I was sharing that they messaged me and said, do you have any private, ways I can work with you right now? And so then you were put in a position where all of a sudden you had to think about whether or not you do. Maybe you just saw business as simple as I'm just going to do a thing, say a thing, repeat a thing, and that actually can build an empire or whatever you want to call it, whatever that, empire, whatever, right? Empire. But literally this is how I've created a business that has produced tens of millions of dollars. I have not done the fancy stuff, but I have the outcomes that people consider fancy and that people tend to assume required a lot of fancy moves and fancy making. And there was, minimal fanciness apart from my 100-year centenary vintage Royal Albert teacup here. That's pretty fancy. That's pretty much the extent of my fanciness. All right, I'm going to go. Have an amazing rest of the day or evening, wherever you are in the world. I've told you the things. Here are the things. Let me repeat them to you. Designed to be a Dreamer is on early next week. I don't know when it is. When is it? It's on the page. This is a one-time masterclass. It is a very low-cost masterclass. You will get the replay if you can't attend live. It'll be deep dive. We will go for quite a few hours. You will walk out with a blueprint that you know how to take action on, which honestly spans every different area of your business, money, the identity and inner game side of what you need to be doing. This is designed as a reset, and it's for those who were designed to be a dreamer. And what that means is that the way your business should come to life is by you understanding how to work with time and space. And also a lot of this is from the supernatural element. So I'm not talking about human calendar time per se, although that's maybe one part of the conversation. So you understanding how to work with time and space in order to receive, drop in, know, understand, and see the things that you should be letting forth into the world. So this is for a particular type of person where you know that really what it's all meant to be hinged on is you being in that dance where you're just seeing and knowing and being shown a thing, and then you say yes, and you actually have an understanding, even if you've not experienced it yet, as I have, but you deeply, you just know, you sense it, that the way that the structural components of your business should come to life is not from ignoring, this desire and need you have inside of you to just dream and take your time and kind of wander and meander and see and know, and then all of a sudden whoosh and off you go. It's not by ignoring that because you're trying to build or do a thing and understand business and do all the just stuff that you honestly don't need to do, but instead it's about resetting into this is what I require. This is the soul fuel that I need. This is how I need to be filled up. This is how I need to work with time and space through a supernatural lens, such that it just comes through me, and then it's beyond me. You know, it transcends you. It transcends your humanness. And whatever it is that you're meant to be creating, selling, but also the marketing, the structural side of it, the branding, you name it, all of it is shown from you being in that dreamland of being you. That's what Design to Be a Dreamer is about. It is going to be a beautiful workshop event. It is going to be such a rejuvenation. It is going to feel like you just went to the most luxurious, incredible, one of a kind, you know, all in spa experience for your soul. It'll be so beautiful. It will fill you up. It will absolutely break you down and break off parts of you that just really don't need to be there. And thank the Lord for that. And it is going to be restorative in a way where you'll be propelled into immediate follow-on action. And so many of the things that you've thought in business just going to take all this time or complexity or hardship or it just sucks, you're just going to be done with it. And you'll understand it, you'll feel it, and you'll also see the outcomes of that. So do not miss Design to Be a Dreamer. It is going to be such an absolute gift to your soul. And it's a gift that comes through me from God. And it is for those people who know you were designed to dream. But yes, you should see specific structural business and money outcomes. And I'm going to show you how that actually works together, because that's how I do it. So this workshop masterclass is the kind of thing where I'll do a live workshop event masterclass once every several months. Usually it is a crazy low cost. This one, which is at thekatrinaruthshow.com/design to be a dreamer, is only $99, and I'm adding a payment plan 2 times $55. So everybody should do this. You might be in my membership or in any other different courses that I'm doing. This is the kind of thing where everyone should do the masterclass because it's just designed for everyone. That's what that is. The other thing I mentioned is the Secret Garden, which is my all-in membership. It is a place for entrepreneurs who are faith-led and who want to understand the ongoing practicalities as well as identity, purpose, spirit-led, meaning Holy Spirit, God-led way of doing business. And you want to be coached, mentored, supported live through live classes as well as community. You want community as well, connections, friendships, like-minded. And you want to be committing to business, wealth, life, and you from a place of being who you're meant to be as a leader in God. And you want that all-in ongoing coaching support. That's the Secret Garden. It is the low-cost membership. As with my memberships, typically it is a crazy low cost for an ongoing live space. And it's an entire 12 months with me. Honestly, for the price of many, maybe not all, but many hotel rooms. Many that I've certainly paid for. There's a VIP option on the page as well, which gives you a little bit of one-on-one time with me. But that's been closed, and that's at thekatrinaruthshow.com/The Secret Garden. I'm reopening it starting tomorrow morning, but I'm telling you about it now so you can actually go and you can get it before I do the official reopen, and it will be open for 72 hours at original launch prices. And then finally, we have Supernaturally Called and Ordained, which is a 10-week private mentoring mastermind with me. This is all in. It is private mentoring. You do go into a mastermind with my other clients as well throughout that. I will explain that to you in a personal conversation over DMs. This is quite simply if you're like, yeah, I want you to be my private coach. That's what I'm feeling. I don't even necessarily need to know why right now, but something within me is saying it's time to really draw that line in the sand, step over that line and go, yeah, no, I'm going all in on pouring forth what I meant to pour forth as a leader. And I want to one-on-one privately be taken by the hand by somebody who has personally coached and mentored just the most incredible entrepreneurs, creators, and leaders, all from purpose and alignments for many, many years now, such that they've collectively made hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'm very well known for mentoring the best of the best in the entrepreneur space. And it's my time now. That's what I want to do, and I want to do it with you, Kat. That would be why you would reach out to me about Supernaturally Called and Ordained. And this is specifically for those who are called by God. So specifically, not for everybody. All right. You know who you are. All right. That one you just DM me. Okay. I hope you enjoy the replay of this. If you're just joining, we just had some powerful truths and reminders. Have an amazing, beautiful rest of the day or evening, wherever you are in the world. Message me the things that you need to know and go and flow where you need to flow. Do not forget, life is now. Press play.